what we get done in the middle of the night when everybody's home sleeping, I think is awesome.
Let's rewind to someone who might be starting out. What I'd love to do is I'd love to ask you a series of dumb questions.
All right.
What's the kit that's doing it this year?
All right. Well, we'll start kind of at the, I don't want to say beginners, but your lower cost of getting into business would be your residential. It's not about money. Everybody thinks it's about, you throw more money at these guys, they're going to come. They got to have the want to get up or not go to the bar that night with their buddies. It's time to work.
What are the other types of customers and clients that people could be building businesses to suit? What are some strategies for staying calm? And also, what are some strategies for getting back on your feet after that?
I almost think the TM almost punishes you because we're in for efficiencies so we can keep moving. I want to be efficient, get in and get out.
Is it worth it? Welcome to Shop Talk from Muskox Snowblowers, and today, very specially, with the SNOWJOBS Podcast. I'm here with Jeremy. Jeremy, who are you?
I'm Jeremy Lindstrom with the SNOWJOBS Podcast. We've been doing the podcast for like 3.5 years now, almost 4 years. So.
This is our second episode, so we decided we needed somebody who is experienced enough to come in and give us a little bit of a pointer. So, first of all, I don't think much credibility is needed because of the absolutely massive garage we're sitting in. But Tell us, where are we and how does it relate to you?
We're at the Glaciersnowmanagement shop in West Fargo, North Dakota is where our shop is at. It's our commercial snow business that I work for. I'm an operations manager here for I think close to 20 years now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're pretty big.
So I know it's always a little bit rude to ask about numbers. So here's the question I'll ask.
All right.
How many machines are in this room with us currently?
Well, some are in a couple other shops, but right now in this shop, we probably have about 30, 32, 34. So
okay.
In the winter, we're up to about 40. I think it's 42 we're up to in this shop.
So Glacier Snow Management, you're established. You guys are at the end of, I don't want to say the end of your journey, but there's not very many questions for you guys anymore. You guys kind of know what the business is and how it works.
Correct.
Is that fair?
Yeah,
okay.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
So what I wanted to talk about today was, let's say somebody wants to someday be where you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
Be established, be credible, be profitable, have that security of knowing I've built a business that is working in snow removal.
Okay.
All right. So let's rewind to someone who might be starting out. Do you think it's possible to successfully start a snow removal business here in the second half of 2026?
Yeah, I definitely think there's room. I mean, there's plenty of work out there for guys. So yeah, anybody with a dream can do what they want to do. Start something up and go with it.
So what I'd love to do is I'd love to ask you a series of dumb questions.
All right,
because I'll provide all of those. And then hopefully from that, we can create a playbook that someone could potentially follow to success. At the very least, I think we could do a playbook to avoid failure.
Okay.
If that's fair.
Yeah, we'll definitely give it a shot.
So walk me through working with Muskox. I hear a lot. People are working with HOAs. People are working residential, commercial, and there's a lot of knowing glances like, oh, you were doing the HOA thing or whatever. So walk me through, what are the different types of customers, different types of clients you might have in snow removal, and what are some of the pros and cons features of those different clients?
All right. Well, we'll start kind of at the, I don't want to say beginners, but your lower cost of getting into business would be your residential, like your driveways and HOAs and stuff like. I mean, that's where you probably need the most minimal equipment. But yet, we always tell you on our podcast that guys that want to make a lot of money should go into residential because the residential is kind of an untapped market. Everybody wants to be the big loaders and do all the big commercial stuff, but residential, there's a lot of money to be made there in HOAs. So,
is it fair to say that there's both a lower barrier to entry in terms of the cost of equipment to get started, and also a fairly high potential.
Yes, very fair to say that.
So then I'm wondering is, okay, I'm hearing low barrier to entry, great.
Yep.
Profitable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a saying, at least in my business, that things can either be quick, quick, good, cheap,
Cheap.
pick two.
Yep.
So what's the third leg of that stool? Easy to enter, very profitable, but what's keeping a lot of people from doing it?
Well, nowadays a lot of it's insurance. Insurance is really,
Got it.
it's really tough on guys. And honestly, equipment during the COVID thing, equipment shot way high. You know,
Mhm.
it's crazy. And it's starting. I don't know if it's starting to come down a little bit, but it's still not where it was. It's crazy how the prices went up, as everybody knows. But
Mhm. So if you're going to get into residential, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit,
Mhm.
if you're going to get into residential, be aware that insurance is going to be part of the conversation and plan for that.
Insurance will be, yes. It's. I don't think for residential is as expensive as like commercial, but yet
Mhm.
it's an expense that you got to factor in. So
Is residential more unpredictable than commercial, just in terms of the amount of work you're going to be doing and potentially the layout of your area of service?
I would say so because you can have great residential if you have route density.
Sure.
But I mean, I know like Canada and stuff like that, they get like, oh, these guys will get just sections of towns. But
Mhm.
the guys I know, like Fargo, they can get some areas, but yet they got to scatter around. So
Mhm.
you're really traveling around. The route density around here isn't as like it is up north, is what I've heard from everybody and everybody I've talked to. So
For the smart landscaper who's got his skid steer, maybe he's got a tractor, and he's listening to this, trying to feel out if this is a good move for him next winter, what is route density? Could you define that for him?
route density, like if you can go to a cul-de-sac, get as many people in that cul-de-sac as possible, so you can, minimize your travel time. You'll be stop after stop after stop right around the corner, a whole block, or just like a section of town. I guess is route density. What you would really want to get.
So making sure that your customers are as close together as possible, so you're
Correct.
not having to drive all the way across town to make
Right.
it happen.
Yep.
So that's a little bit of just preview of residential, potential big upside. Watch out for insurance. Make sure you're paying attention to route density. We'll come back to that. What are the other types of customers and clients that people could be building businesses to suit?
Definitely commercial. If you want to jump in the commercial game,
Yeah.
you could go to any kind of retail business, hospitals, schools, industrial sites. All that stuff is great for industrial. I mean, anybody can jump in there too. You just have to be ready for what's coming. So
What's coming?
you got to have the equipment, and what like we always say from the Godfather Snow, Randy Strait. He always says, "Do what you say you're gonna do, and be on time." And that's what you have to do. And that's a lot of things. A lot of guys nowadays, they want to just get the job to say they have the job, and then they kind of fail because they want to get so many jobs. You gotta know what you can get done.
So I'll put a pin in this and revisit it after we go through the different types of other clients, but I do want to get back to that idea of estimating how much work you can get done. Because
Right.
my guess is in video, they always say, take whatever, however long you think it's going to take,
Mm-hmm.
and then add 50% more onto it. Like that's what you should be estimating for the client. Does a similar rule apply?
Similar. See, the snow industry is so different. It's not like
Good.
mowing the lawns or something where you do it every week. Snow
Yes.
is you're under the gun. You have like one opportunity to get it right, and every storm is different. So you have to plan for the worst and hope for the best. I mean, you can have all the production rates you want, like what can do what, but it depends on the snow. When's it going to start? What time is it starting at 8 o'clock at night or starting at 4 o'clock in the morning where you have 2 hours to get it done instead of 6 hours to get it done? Everything there's no storm that's the same. It's a moving ball, I guess.
So I'm gonna also revisit asking you for different strategies, different rules of thumb, things that you've learned over the years that might help people kind of know what they're getting into. But and of course there's a learning curve as well.
Okay.
So we've got residential,
Yep,
commercial, Any other types of clients that people could be looking at? Any other areas that or subdivisions of those two?
I mean, honestly, those are your main ones. These way I always explain. You know, you got your residentials, commercials, HOAs, but those are your pretty much the ones that a lot of stuff falls underneath the commercial or the residential. So
now, how do HOAs differ from, say, working directly with homeowners?
HOAs, we don't do a lot of them here, but a lot of contacts I deal with, the guys say the best HOAs you can get is like like a development or whatever, or like a retirement community or something like that. Is they're great. They'll pay really good, but the problem is a lot of these guys will have 20 people come running out to you, telling you what you should do, what not do.
These are homeowners coming out to you?
Homeowners coming up. This is what I've heard. We don't do any personally,
understood.
but this is what I've heard from many guys. But the best ones are where they say in the contract that we only talk to one person, and whoever else comes out. I mean, be polite to them, but it's like you're still doing your job, and you got to go to that. They tell them to go to their, I don't want to say boss, but the head of their HOA or whatever, and if they got concerns, because otherwise you got, so many people coming at you is what I've heard.
So that seems like a great rule of thumb pretty much in any business or any customer would be define who the person you're reporting to is.
Correct.
Like, you got to narrow down that customer to a single person.
Right.
How does that work in the commercial space? Like, because I could imagine, say, I used to be a teacher.
Yep.
Worked at a school. And there was the principal, and they loved, whenever there was somebody working on the school, doing a contract job, whatever, they loved to go out there and just snoop and look, what are we talking on here? But the head of maintenance was the person who was, hiring them, making sure that they were, hey, we're going to come to the school and do this. But it was the head of the finance office who was signing the check. How do you get clarity on who you're reporting to in the commercial space?
I mean, like a commercial space usually have like a manager in charge, like a operation or like a grounds manager, property manager there. But it's the same thing. Everybody thinks they have a say, in it. So you report to one person, hopefully, but everybody's still going to come out there, and you got to be polite and whatever they say, you can, yes, we'll take care of that, or maybe you should bring that up to your manager and we'll take care of it if he okays it or something like that. So it's all a balancing game of how you want to address it.
Sure. And it sounds like there's a lot of soft skills because you're dealing with some people who might be very emotional, people who might be very stressed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get them all.
So that's a little sort of a broad overview of the types: residential, commercial, and then within residential, you've got working directly with homeowners, or maybe working with one HOA person if you negotiate that contract. Let's talk a little bit about the different types of equipment that people might have. So I'm thinking, let's just kind of go over broadly. We'll start with residential type equipment, commercial equipment, and then the barriers or the things to consider when purchasing these things.
Okay.
Whether you think financing is a good idea, what the different levels are. So broadly speaking, let's start residential. What's the kit that's doing it this year for residential snow removal?
Well, what I've talked to a lot of guys about residentials, honestly, I think the tractors, like we have like John Deere 3000 series tractors, like a tractor like that with like inverted blower, which Muskox actually, they got a great new one out now. That's, I think, going to take the world by storm here. So,
yes, we should acknowledge right up front, this podcast is produced by Muskox, and so we are shamelessly in favor of our own products. That being said, a lot of other companies make a lot of great equipment that you can run a great business with.
Yeah.
So obviously we try to make stuff that we want to use that we think is good. And but yeah, the inverted blower game, it's a big opportunity there.
It's a huge opportunity. And honestly, what I've seen with those things can do, I'm not even just talking Muskox, any other brand. They're so quick in and out of these. That's the whole part of making this money is, you got to be efficient. You got to be efficient. Efficiency is around density in the residential game. So if you can have an inverted blower, you can get in and out of driveways with maybe 3-4 swipes, and you're
Mhm.
on to the next. Other people, have used blades, like a pickup blade. No, I mean it works. It's just not as efficient as a like inverted blower. The back blades have been getting popular over the last few years, where
Mhm.
guys pull that stuff out.
So
So
you used two terms there. I just want to make sure we define them: blade and back blade.
yep,
Correct me if I'm wrong. Blade is on the front of the truck. A back blade is something that you have on the back. It drops down and pulls snow forward.
correct. Yep,
Okay,
yep.
got it. Got it. So for someone starting out, probably inverted, maybe blades. What are the disadvantages of blades and back blades?
What I would say with disadvantage of blades and back blades would be, you can pull it out, but you're not getting rid of it. And then you got to probably push it up on the lawn. Maybe,
Mhm.
you gouge the lawn, or you got to find a place that's snow to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you got an inverted blower, obviously you can just blow it all winter long. Just keep blowing it up in the,
Mm-hmm.
in the grass or wherever you need to put it. But you don't have that pile of snow, and you're not going to have as much turf damage or whatever.
So one of the things to consider would always be, what's the full story of how the snow gets from the driveway or the sidewalk to its ultimate destination. And with a blade, there's a lot more pushing and sliding and whatever, but lower cost to entry. You could probably pick up a blade on a credit card and be
Yep,
just fine with it.
definitely.
At what point do shovelers come into the mix on the residential side?
Well, that's shovelers are a huge part in the residential, and it depends on your contract structure. A lot of guys, I've seen where a lot of guys are just doing the driveways and they're not even offering the sidewalks. But if they do, it's a caveat. They got a la carte. They'll add that on. So it'll be, if you do have it, that's a key point to your business right there. You got to have great shovelers, guys that are going to show up because people are expecting that job to be done, and that's a hard job. I mean, those guys are out in the elements. They're not in a nice cab like we have or whatever. So, yeah, they're tough guys to find, and you got to pay them guys right. So, and hopefully they show up.
I'm going to double click on this for a minute because I'm guessing the size of your operation here, the number of people you work with yearly. What are you looking for in a new hire? Like when you're looking for that person, what are the traits? What are the attributes? What's kind of that almost sixth sense that you have for someone? What should people be looking for when they're hiring?
Usually what I do is, I don't care if they have experience. It doesn't bother me if they don't have experience. I can train guys to do whatever, but you just got to want to have the guys that are, you lay it out to them. I'm going to call you at 2:00 in the morning, and I need you to show up. Can you be there? I know stuff comes up where people can't show up, but you just you got to feel them out when you're talking to them. Are they going to be on time? You try to pay them good, but it's not about money. Everybody thinks it's about, you throw more money at these guys, are going to come. It's, they got to have the want to get up or not go to the bar that night with their buddies. It's time to work. So it's you gamble on a lot of people, and but a lot of guys will. If you get like a bunch of guys together that are buddies or whatever, if one guy, one buddy's coming, they're all gonna come. So it's almost like you play them against each other. So like, oh, this guy's gonna, which works, but yet if they're all buddies, which I have a problem with at times here, they all go on snowmobile trips together and they lose them or something like that. But it's all right though, because you rather have guys that want to work together, be together,
But I like that as a strategy because for you, the boys are always going to could be a liability.
Yep.
Because, the game's in town, or we're going to the bar, it's karaoke night, whatever it might be, whatever suits your style. Something. But it sounds like you've occasionally leveraged the boys to your end, because now it's like, because nothing will get you out of bed earlier in the morning than getting shit from your buddies. Like, this works in gym groups, this works in running groups, this works in like the whole world, sobriety. There's like a whole bunch of people who are like, if you're getting shit from the boys, you're gonna get the work done.
And they know how to play me back too. So I'm.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, they'll play you back.
What will they do to you?
Well, here's the whole deal. I'll send a group text. Usually I send a group text to all my guys, and then if it's where it doesn't, they all don't get the same text or they don't get respond. But if I need them bad, I'll send like a group text where everybody hears a reply, like your family text, whatever. You get all them, but then I'll send one of them out to everybody. So then they'll know who's coming, who's not coming. If they're not coming, they're going to be like, well, Aaron's coming, I should go if Aaron's coming. But then if I know what's going on the other end too, if they're texting each other individually back and forth saying, do we really want to go? And then I'll get on there and go, I know you guys are talking to each other back and forth on the other text group. So so they'll try to play you too. So I mean, it's just a game back and forth. But we have good, like here, I have a great crew. Guys are fun and been, we get new guys plenty of new guys every year, but I got a really nice core group of guys that really.
Do you find that the core group brings in the new guys and kind of breaks them in a little bit, gives them a sense of what the rules are and what the culture is?
They do. I wouldn't say they bring a lot of new guys in, but yeah, they definitely help when they can, and they'll definitely train the new guys, but they also let the new guys know if they're doing something wrong. So
yeah. So on the residential side, we went from residential. You're going to have shovelers. You got to look for your team. Got to build that out. Going to pull back to the residential side a little bit. What place do you see skid steer blowers working well, and what place do you see skid steer blowers maybe not being the right tool?
Skid steer blowers, they definitely can work in the residential market. It all once it goes to the route density, because they don't have the travel speed like a tractor would have. So you're going to have that, you have to trailer, untrailer, chain up on, if you got to move it around. So you're going to get a little slower there. So I don't know if skid steer is the greatest, residential piece. Definitely like an HOA where you're in one area, fine. But if you're going to be jumping over town, I'm not saying you can't do it, because if you have the equipment, you might as well use it. But it's just not, the road speed is what I'm getting down to. It's just not as fast. So skid steer is more for us as commercial lots. It'll stay on site or whatever. Travel in this little area work. But
and if you've already have a skid steer, that's where you might want to look at adapting your strategy to match the equipment you already have.
Oh, definitely. Is that fair? Definitely, very fair. Because you want to use your equipment you have instead of just buy a bunch of equipment you want to use for snow. So.
And obviously, it goes without saying, Muskox does make a hydraulic skid steer blower, 2684.
Really?
I thought you may have heard of it.
I might have heard of that.
Break some news. It's galvanized. So but that was our whole thing, was like, well, if somebody is trying to make the best of a hydraulic blower, which it came from Ron was using his hydraulic blower, Adam was using hydraulic skid steers, excuse me. That tip forward function was an attempt to at least remove the need for shovelers in front of garage doors, which you have talked all about very eloquently, and we deeply appreciate it. So tell me about the equipment you need for commercial. There's a rather lot of it in this room.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. For commercial, depends on your commercial. If you're going to do it depends on your lots. You can do a lot of commercial with a pickup and a pickup plow, or a skid steer and a skid plow. If you got some big accounts, you need the big loaders to get across that, parking lot. So it all depends on what you have for accounts. I'm not saying if you just have like a gas station, you need to go buy a $300,000 loader. You can use a skid steer. It would work great. There's no use to overextend yourself if you don't need to. So you just kind of go by your accounts or what you're building for.
So what accounts, if you can tell us, just maybe a general category, what accounts are you using these on? What are you putting on the front of them? And how does that all fit together for you guys?
Right. Well, like with these big loaders you see in the background here, we're using them at hospitals, at, the Walmarts, heavy industrial, So yeah, Amazons. Big industrials will use a lot of these and all the hospitals and schools. Schools will take quite a bit of these. So yeah, we'll put, most of ours will have Arctic blades on them, like 14 to 19 foot Arctic blades, and
big boys.
Yeah, we got Phantom hydraulic plows on some of these too. So we've been using them. So yeah, that's pretty much what we use on these. Then we'll have big industrial blowers for after the snow to blow back. So.
And if someone's looking to get into commercial, what is the 0 to 1 move? So obviously you can't just go out and boom,
Right.
buy 30 of these things. What's the 0 to 1? Like, okay, I want to get into commercial snow removal. What would you say is the first purchase or the first thing that they're financing, that first piece of equipment they're gonna start making money with?
Well, I would say it depends on your contract and what you have. I
Yep.
mean, if you, let's just say you got a hospital or something like that right off the bat, somebody gave you, you're gonna need probably 3 heavy big loaders there,
Mm-hmm.
and probably another couple of skidsters or compact loaders,
Mm.
like at a hospital or whatever to run. Because you usually, let's just say you're at, I'm just keeping a hospital for some reason, but it's usually a zero tolerance deal. So you're gonna be there from the moment the snow starts till it ends. So you're gonna need the compacts to pull everything away, and the big guys will just be pushing to piles. So that's how we do it. So
Got it. So it sounds like, in terms of what comes first, sometimes the contract can come before the equipment.
I honestly would say you want the contract to come before the equipment.
Really?
So then you
Okay.
then you know what you want to buy, because you don't want to overextend yourself and just, I'm going to buy all this equipment, and then you got to hopefully go find work. I mean, so you want to have that work to pay for the equipment. So I know it doesn't always go that way, but that's, you want to have the work, so then you get the equipment if you can work it that way. So,
Interesting. So let's do a little bit of a side shift here into like what makes a good contract. And you're talking to a guy, I've done contracts for video work, but I've never done contracts for snow. So
Mhm.
again, I'll be bringing the stupid questions.
You're good.
When would you recommend somebody is out trying to build their contracts for the year of snow removal? What's the time to do that?
We talk about that a lot in the podcast. Of honestly, after like the last winter ended, you should be on that contract right away, because it's fresh in the businesses' minds and stuff. I mean, most of them probably aren't going to sign anything because they always want to wait till August, September, October, which sucks for us, because you don't know if you need to get more equipment or whatever. But if you can get them to sign right away from, like, I'd say like an April, May, or June, just try to get them early. So then you have a few months to make sure you have all the equipment in place that you need, or whatever you need to get rolling. Otherwise, you're scrambling at the end, which we're snow guys, so we're used to scrambling. So
For sure. So just to look at this from two sides, if someone's listening to this right now in July and they want to go out and bid some contracts, they might have an opportunity based on some businesses that are holding out from signing their contracts.
correct.
But those people who maybe are 1 or 2 years in, a practice they should start developing would be, let's see if we can get these contracts signed in the spring, make the business cycle a little bit more predictable, get that income a little bit more predictable, so we know what expenditures we need to put on the books. Is that fair?
Very fair. I mean, if you can get them to sign in, like I said, early spring or early summer, and if you can get them to sign a multi-year deal, that's what you want to do. So then you have locked down. I'd say 3 to 5 year contract would be great if you can get that. That's.
Okay.
I mean, more people are doing that now than they used to, but if you can get a 3 to 5, and if you can get a seasonal contracts, and then you know what the budget. So that's always a great thing to do.
So aim for 3 to 5 year contract.
Mm-hmm.
Couple other questions about contracts. What are some things you absolutely want to have defined in there? And if you wouldn't mind giving like approximate, either reasonable numbers or places where you could go to get reasonable numbers. Because someone like me, if someone's like, hey, could you, if I wanted to get into snow removal, it's like, well, I know how much money I like to make just because how much life costs.
Right.
But what, and then you got to factor in your overhead, your shop, your equipment, the maintenance on the equipment, the electricity at the shop, everything. Stupid thing. Yep. It all adds up pretty quick. So how do you go about getting those numbers in your head?
To get the numbers in your head, well, we got a great accountant here that we got a lot of data tracking things in our equipment, so it keeps track of all of our stuff. But a lot of guys aren't going to have that, which you can get there, no problem. But I would say if you can get if you're going back to contracts, get a seasonal contract would be great. mean, it's not always great for everybody, but if you have the correct language in there, it can really work for you. If you have like floors and ceilings, so you're always kind of know where you're going to be. Otherwise, you can do a per inch contracts, like, or you can do a per time contract. And around here, we still do quite a bit of per, T&M. So
what is T&M?
Time and material. So per hour charge, for equipment. So, which
Got
if I talk to a lot of guys on the East Coast, like in our podcast, those guys, that T&M out there is pretty much unheard of, is what they're telling me. So
interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
So they always think we're crazy out here for doing that.
So how do they structure, if someone's on the East Coast, how do they structure their contracts?
A lot of it's per time or seasonals is what I hear from them. So it's, I honestly think that's better personally, because T&M, what are you going to do if you're T&M? You're going to drag your feet, maybe, not go as hard.
Sure.
So I almost think for where we are with all of our big equipment, we've invested heavy in the loaders and pushers and everything. So I almost think the T&M almost punishes you, because we're in for efficiencies, so we can keep moving. That's I want to be efficient, get in and get out, and then make good money doing it. So I don't want to have guys just sit there.
If your compensation is linked directly to the amount of time you're on site, the incentive is always going to be to take longer on site.
Correct.
Which creates, this is just a classic follow the incentive. What are you gonna whereas it sounds like on the East Coast the model is different. They do
a lot of per times.
So that would mean if I go out to the site, doesn't matter if it takes me half an hour or 3, I'm getting paid X amount of money per time.
Yep.
Got it.
I know a lot of guys will have storms out there where they'll, every 2 inches they'll push it, so they get charged, say that they push that same site 6 times in an event or something that was a long event. They get to charge, 6 times or whatever. So, which, to me, that's great, because you're efficient. I like to, efficiencies are built. That's what I want to do. I want to be efficient. I want my team to be efficient. I don't want that just sitting around, not saying they would do not saying anybody really tries to do that, but that's just how it goes.
Sure. So when you're building out your contracts, look for ways to structure the compensation so that your incentives are aligned with being efficient, that you're rewarded for the thing everybody wants, which is to get the job done quickly and then get on to the next place, and make sure that everybody is just, the snow's there and then it's gone.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
perfect.
That would be great.
Perfect. So contracts going to be happening at the latest July, August. I promised this earlier, and I want to swing back to it because I think learned wisdom is crucial in any skill. What are some of the times with Glacier Snow Management where you had an unexpected event, snowstorm, whatever, where you were really proud of either the way you performed, you and the team performed? Kind of walk us through that, because you mentioned earlier that every snow event is different. It's not like mowing the grass. It's unpredictable. It comes at different times. Every storm is different. So I want to kind of give me a sense of what that looks like in real time. When you had a moment, you're like, we fucking killed this.
I would say, honestly, it was one of our, we've had quite a few of them here, but I'd say one of the best ones, I think, was a couple years ago. We had a Christmas Day storm.
Yeah.
Christmas, everybody wants to be with their family and everything like that. And but we have contracts. We have to, we have retail centers. We have hospitals that are open. We have critical infrastructure that needs to be cleared. So, and it's always tough because a lot of my guys are college guys. They go home for Christmas or all holidays or what have you. But I do, like I said, my core, I have guys that left their families on a Christmas to come help, I say help me, but help the company, help us do, help us clean the hospital. There's emergency vehicles. We've had storms where we've had to go out and get doctors. Throw them in our vehicles or plow a path for them to get to the hospital. We've done that in the past. And we're an emergency service. Snow removal is emergency service. I've always said that. I always say that because, not all the time. We are very critical to get a lot of things done, especially like the hospitals. I always bring them up because that's very important. You want to get if something's happened in your life, you want to get there right and be safe. And
absolutely.
and you want that doctor to be there. to save you.
Absolutely. And do you remember the numbers from that storm?
Like inches that fell
Yes,
or
sir.
something. I think it was. Oh, I think it was only like a 8-inch, 6 to 8 inch storm, but it's North Dakota. So with that 6 to 8 inch storm, you have 60-mile-an-hour winds, whatever, blowing. So it was a whiteout. I had guys driving from Mayville here in a whiteout on Christmas Day, and I have guys come from distance to come plow. So they're troopers. I mean, they'll honestly, I think a lot of it is because they don't want to let me down, and so we kind of have a great team that way. So
Absolutely. And God, just early in the muskox days, we would be live streaming from Ron's house. And I bought my Jeep. I don't have it here with me, but I bought my Jeep specifically so that, like, if it was snowing, that was great for us to live stream. But,
mhm.
I had to get through that storm. But live streaming is fun, but it's not super critical. I
Yep.
can't imagine the pressure and also the amount of trust and the amount of pride you all must have when that guy drives in from Mayville. You guys get that doctor to the hospital,
Yep.
and you don't know what happened in the hospital,
Right.
but you can kind of guess that drive from Mayville and that whiteout where you're looking out the window to see the
Oh yeah.
side of the road so you don't go off into the ditch, that drive was an instrumental part of saving someone's life or improving someone's life.
Definitely could have been.
Does the pride of being essential infrastructure, emergency service, as you said, does that also factor into the kind of guys, the people who are coming to this job? Like that, does that provide a reward that money can't?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure on that one.
What about for you personally?
Personally, I do love that. I love to think we played a big role in something. I like to. I'm very proud of my guys. I
Hmm.
hype them up on social media and everything. Because what we get done in the middle of the night when everybody's home sleeping, I think is awesome. I mean, our team does fantastic here, and I'll always go to bat for them for anything they need. I mean,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter. They help me out. I'm gonna do whatever I can to help them out.
Hmm.
So I'm very proud of what they do, and like I say, they're all leaving their families, and a lot of my guys, they started out young, college, whatever, and now they all have families and kids now, and they're still here pushing for me. So
That's awesome. And
so
also awesome that you provide a job that can serve people at different stages in life.
mhm,
That's really, really cool because, you hear a lot on various things. Oh, that's an entry level job, or oh, that's a high schooler job, or whatever. All these talks about wages or whatever. But that's super cool. That it sounds like people can grow in this industry
yeah,
and make a life in this industry and provide for their families in this industry.
they definitely can. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can definitely do that. I mean,
Hmm.
there's plenty of areas to grow in the snow industry.
Yeah.
So
Now that's sort of the highlight. Getting people here. We're facing the storm. Hospitals open. You know, doing things really, really well. I'm a big fan of learning by sort of negative example,
mhm.
which is to say, uh, I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase never multiply by zero, but it's a big piece of life advice that I've applied, my friends have applied, which is you can be, you know, running every day, taking your vitamins, doing your sauna, which is sort of my advice.
Mhm.
But if you drive without a seatbelt and go 100 miles an hour and go flying through the windshield, all that health was for nothing because you just
Right.
multiplied by zero. What are some of the absolutely do not do this your first year of snow removal? What are the big don't multiply by zero warnings out there?
I would say number one is don't take on more than you can do.
Okay.
I mean, because you're gonna ruin your name right off the bat if you take on all these customers and you get and you can't handle them all. That's just gonna give you a bad name right off the bat.
Hmm.
It doesn't social media nowadays. It don't somebody gets something going on the old Facebook. It's your name is trash right away. You could be you know not great.
Does Fargo have these like Fargo wide rants, raves, and review page. Are you on these?
I'm not on them, but yeah, I know they have a bunch of these sites and stuff like that.
I've seen not snow removal companies, but I've seen restaurants get
Oh yeah, I've seen those
eviscerated because someone didn't get the salsa fast enough.
Yep.
And it's a contagion. It is.
Everybody loves to hate on people.
Yeah. Okay. So don't bite off more than you can chew because your reputation will not handle that.
Correct. I would say don't overextend yourself with equipment costs because that getting in the hole right away it's hard to dig out of, you know. Just know what you can do.
Do you recommend that people I got to ask this question delicately because there's a lot of different ways to do things, but obviously the preference would be pay cash, but how much like generally, okay, take this on a home. It's like 20% down is kind of the guiding line, but there's wiggle room.
Yep.
What's the percentage down on equipment, generally speaking?
I mean, you said it. If you can pay a majority of it cash, I mean, you get a good down payment down.
Yep.
That's cash is always king.
Absolutely.
But you also don't want to lose all your cash by putting it all on one piece. So, like you say, if you can put, or if you can lease, or if you can do some, if you can lease equipment, if that works for you. A lot of guys are going to the lease program for snow.
Yep.
There's a lot of great leasing options out there. So, I mean, if you can do that, factor that in, that's a great way to go start off too.
I know we have some great financing partners, and again, this podcast is produced by Muskox Snowblowers, so we are here to promote our business.
Of course we are.
But we do have some great financing partners that do occasionally offer some like 0%, 0 down, 0 for 3 months. There's various packages that are putting together to get money coming in the door before money goes out the door. But those are options available to people.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. But always cash is king if you got it.
Yep.
Okay. So don't overextend yourself on equipment. What would that look like maybe for a residential guy and a commercial guy? Like what's the temptation? Because in my line of work, just for example, the temptation is to buy that thing right off the rip.
Yep.
When really the majority of money I've ever made has been off of that thing.
Okay.
And that is a quarter of the price of that.
It's no different than snow removal. I mean, everybody goes to the Instagrams, the Facebooks, and they want to post their flashy equipment, trucks, and everything like that. And that's great. Guys that have it, that's great. But if not everybody can afford that right at the bat, you can work towards that. You gotta maybe start off in higher hour stuff, whatever. Just maintain it well, and you should be okay. And then just once you're to the point where you're making some money, then you can jump up to the newer things that you want to do, that you want to have. Everybody wants everything instantly right now, right? That's everybody's instant. I want it now. Well, that's not how it always works. I mean,
yeah. So it sounds like patience in the number of contracts you're getting, patience in the amount of equipment you're getting. Those are very, very lucrative virtues because it's going to keep you in the game longer.
Yes.
It's going to keep your reputation stronger, and it's going to mean that you're there next winter, slowly building the process. It's like a mountain of paint, one layer at a time. You just keep adding it on.
I mean, like this. You look at Glacier Snow here. Don Nelson, the owner, he started with a pickup and a skidster. Built it to this. So, and you can, another way to build up too is if you're a smaller guy, you want to build up. We did this and we're still doing it. You have subcontractors to help you. Subcontractors will help you. You pay them a good amount and then you keep a little off the top for yourself, and that you can do more work and not have as much invested,
Does that relationship work in reverse where, say, I want to learn the ropes of snow removal and eventually want to run my own company? Could I approach a bigger operation and say, hey, I'd love to be one of your subcontractors?
Happens all the time.
All the time.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We have plenty of guys that started subs of us. They have their own business in town here now.
So that would be another, would you say that's a fairly good strategy for people in terms of like, if you are literally starting from nothing and you're like, okay, I want to get into snow removal, in terms of a first step?
100%. That's what I tell a lot of guys. If you don't want to start off and like your own thing of residentials or whatever. If you got some equipment, so let's just say you're a landscaper and you have skidsters and pickups, and hey, I want to do snow, I want to get in the snow game and see how that is. Come into like a company like ours, and if we need subs, we'll hire you on. You get paid decent wage, and you get to learn the snow industry. Is this something I really want to do? And you don't have to do all the hard stuff. At least our company, how we treat our subs is, we have all the work. We give them a route, and then they go do the route. They send us a bill. We pay them. They don't have to chase a client. They don't have to chase a client for money. They're going to get paid from us. And so they're always guaranteed to get paid, and we'll probably wait for our money longer from the client. But so that's a great starting point as well.
And do you already have structures in place for dealing with insurance for subcontractors?
They have to have their own insurance.
Got
so yeah,
okay.
We will piggyback them onto our insurance. So.
Got it. Okay, but you can provide what I'm asking is, if I were to come to you with a pickup truck, a skid steer, and a dream, you could tell me, okay, here are the forms you need to fill out. Here's the insurance you'll need. Here's the
100%.
And you're both rowing in the same direction because their success as your subcontractor reflects well on you. But their being a subcontractor takes a little bit of the load off your plate. So everybody has a chance to win.
Everybody wins. Yep.
Absolutely.
And I think it's great for guys that want to, start their own thing. We have a lot of subs that started their own or started here, and then they went off their own, like I said. Otherwise, they still stayed here, and they have some other equipment on the side of their own that they're doing their own stuff with too. So you can do both ways. I mean, we don't, we're here to help everybody. Or, guys, we're not afraid. We know you're gonna make more money on your own than being a subcontractor. So we don't. It's part of the game you play. So
got it. What do we do when we get to this upcoming winter? I want to give people a sense of what questions they should be asking or what strategies they should be looking at for when things don't go according to plan. So most recent in mind for me is there isn't enough snow. But then also there are times when there is too much snow.
Right.
So I'm wondering, different regions of the country have different problems, but let's say you're somewhere like maybe you're out in Idaho, and this winter the snow didn't come.
Right.
How do you handle that from a business standpoint, and how do you factor in that risk in your contracts?
Well, that's a great question, because if you have seasonals, which are great to have, so then you kind of have a budget. But if you have a floor and a ceiling, that's where guys. That's what I like right now. Is the floor and ceiling is kind of big talk. A floor is where let's just say if you get less than 15 inches of snow, you'll give your client back, let's just say 10% of that, the contract, whatever.
Got it.
But you don't give them back money. You give them back and say, if you're doing landscape for them, you give them back that and enhancements, like that money towards enhancements, or you forward that money to next season. So then you get to keep them for another season because they want to get that money.
So it's like an in-store credit.
Yes. But they have to. But
okay.
So maybe they'll sign it for another year because you have if you have a credit.
So it's not coming to them and saying, "Hey, here's 10% back in cash. I just wrote you a check. Boom."
Right.
It's, "Hey, next year we're going to give you 10% off
for to get that amount back that we were gonna from last year's contract."
When you say seasonal, that just refers to the winter spanning from what, October
I would say,
to April?
Yeah, from October 15th to April 15th or whatever. Your winter season.
Got it.
And if you have a good seasonal contract, let's just say your contract goes from October 15th to April 15th or something like that. If it snows May 1st, you're still going to do that for that contract just because you want to keep that. You're not going to nickel and dime them if they paid you all year. You're gonna show them good faith, and they'll hopefully show you good faith.
Because nothing will make someone pissed off more than watching their driveway fill up on an April 16th and wondering, where the hell are you?
I mean, I know some guys have done that, but I mean, anybody can do what they want to do. But if you want to be a good, good to your customer, like they would, I mean, I don't know if customers are always great, but they're
It seems like an easy way to keep a good customer, and it seems
happy.
like a really easy way to perhaps win over a bad customer.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I don't have to be here,
Yep.
but I'm
But
here.
I'm here.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Um,
If I can go back to if we go
please,
to
please.
if we're doing a seasonal, if you got a cap is, let's just say our 55 inches is your cap on your contract. So once the snow hits 55, after 55, you're going to charge them a T&M rate or something. So
And
you're not going to go backwards.
mhm,
So it's otherwise, there's like in Minnesota a couple years ago, a lot of guys went backwards pretty fast. They had 100-inch snowfall. A lot of their seasonals were, it met their seasonal pretty quick. So a lot of guys didn't have a cap, and that really hurt them. I mean, wh- what incentive do they have to keep showing up, to do the work? They're going to go under. A lot of guys were struggling that year that I talked to.
so
So
make sure in the contracts you have that time, and T&M stands for time and materials.
right, T&M or per time after that. However you want to structure it, you can do whatever
Mhm,
you want. You just want to make sure it's not like you're going to get rich off them once you hit the cap, but you want to make some money and not go backwards. So you can
right,
be around next year.
right,
It works on both ends.
because if you're going out multiple times, there's fuel in the vehicles, there's wear and tear on the vehicles, you're paying your guys time to be there, whatever contracts you have with your employees or your contractors. All of that is money that's automatically going out the door
Hmm.
every time it snows. Maybe a shear bolt goes on
Yep.
Christmas. This is one of Adam's favorite
Oh
examples.
yeah.
Is that if anything's going to break, it'll be midnight on Christmas.
Always.
Uh, if I could go in a little bit, what have been some of the unexpected expenses in snow removal? Maybe we'll start with the commercial level, but then also in the residential side, either stories you've heard or things you've experienced where, like, all of a sudden something went sideways and now there's a lot of money going out the door.
Well, like I just said, like a contract that you didn't have a cap on. If you go over, I mean,
Hmm.
you can go backwards in a hurry. This equipment all running out all the fuel. I
Yep.
mean, something breaks. You bend a plow up or something. These plows aren't cheap.
Hmm.
It 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 doesn't take long to go backwards in the snow industry
Mm.
because everything's big. Everybody's in a hurry, and stuff happens. So
Yeah. When you have an issue, when you break a plow, when you whatever, what are some strategies for staying calm? And also, what are some strategies for getting back on your feet after that?
yeah, I used to be. I mean, when I first, I was like, I'm a go go go, but I would be, upset if guys would bend stuff up or break. You just gotta kind of roll with it. If it's, I mean, accidents happen. It's
Hmm.
part of the game. I suppose I got older and I got, a little more knowledge and cool down. I don't know if my guys would agree with me what I'm saying,
Hmm.
but I think I've come a long ways where, you just got to kind of roll with it. You'll get it done. You just take your time, come back. We'll fix it quick or do what we can. Put a
Hmm.
different plow on, or we just make it work. If you got to shift one piece to a different lot,
Hmm.
just to keep the ball moving. I mean, you can't get upset about it too much unless it's intentional or something. Then you
Yeah.
can really, but or if it's the same person making a mistake, then you got to make changes. But
Hmm.
uh, it's snow removal. The worst is always going to happen in the middle of the night, and we're out in the worst conditions, um, sleep deprived. We don't know what's going to happen, what's coming around the corner. So it's a battle. It's just we we can't predict anything that goes on out here.
Sure. Is it worth it?
Definitely worth it. Yeah, yeah, I definitely I love the business. It's been fun. I've had a great career here, and I honestly I love coming to work. It's a good time. So
And is it worth it for someone to get into snow removal, do you think?
definitely is if they're willing to put in the work, put in the time, and build build relationships with your customers. It'd be definitely worth it for anybody that wants to get into it. It's not going to happen overnight.
Hmm.
You gotta play. That's what I always saying about snow game. Like even like our new subcontract stuff, guys will make good money one year and we'll have 3 bad years. You got to play the long. If you're in the snow business, you have to play the long game. So
Hmm.
if you want to be around, so
Is there a question about getting into snow removal that I should have asked that I haven't yet?
You've asked a lot of good questions. I don't know. It's everybody thinks you're gonna make money quick, and we all wish we could make money quick. We all wish we could. We always hear about these unicorn contracts that Joe down the street has, or something like that. And maybe one year you'll get that contract. Who knows if it's true? It's contractors talking. So you always. I always say it's a big sandbox here, and there's plenty of work to go around. I mean, you just don't want to be the low guy that takes the contracts. Let's just say we have a retail center here, and we're doing it for a couple $100,000 or something like that. And you get a new guy comes in, he's like, "Oh, I can do that for 80,000." So he'll probably end up failing on that contract. But what did that do? It drove that contract from 200 down to 80. It's going to take a lot of years to get that contract back to where it once was, where it serves to be. So I'm just pulling numbers out of the air right now, but that's what we talk about a lot, is that when these guys come in and low bid everything, they want work. They want to get work, so they think they got a low bid. You got to know your value. You got to know your value. You got to take everything in account, that, like you said earlier, your shop rent, your utilities. I mean, you got a guy checking lots almost every night of the week. He's got time into doing that. A weather service, everything. There's so many different factors. Plow stakes that you put in the ground, everything costs money. So you got to try to factor in all your expenses. It's really hard to do, but you gotta plan for the worst and hope for the best. Is what we always say.
So to the new guy that's watching this video, that's made it this far,
Yeah,
it sounds like the lesson is you might be tempted to come in and just underbid the established players in a kind of desperate attempt to get more bids.
yes,
But in the long run, everybody wins, including you, if you bid things what they cost. And maybe even when you come across a bid like, whoa, they're charging $200,000 for that parking lot, instead of thinking, oh, I could do it for cheaper,
right,
ask, I wonder what the hidden costs are that I'm not seeing or thinking about. Like, let the bids that are out there teach you about the business,
correct.
because you may not like what the numbers are, but the numbers have something to teach you. And I think it's a really good point, especially when you're working within a town, and you said reputation in neighborhood goes fast, but
Yep.
reputation in an industry goes faster.
Yes,
And you don't want to be the guy who is forcing everybody else to work leaner or have to like ration fuel or ration, you have no idea what the unintended consequences of your entering a market lowballing are going to have.
right.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's the whole point we preach on our podcast constantly,
Yeah.
about the guys that just come in the low bid. You're not hurting, you're hurting everybody by doing that. They don't stick around. If you're gonna low bid, you're not gonna be around long if you low bid. And we always say, if you have like 5 contractors in the area, or 3, whatever, but y'all are bidding about the same within a few $1,000s of each other on a deal. If you lose to one of them, that's fine. We lost because we're all on the same page.
Yep.
We all know what kind of scope of work we do and what we do. So you're okay with that loss. What really sucks if you lose to somebody who just comes in and just lowballs you. That's what sucks, because that just sets our industry back.
Yeah. I got a buddy who works in commercial electrical, and he's been dealing with a couple of hostile companies who have been underbidding them pretty severely.
Yep.
And I mean, the strain on that guy's life and his family and his kids and his wife, and it's like the ripple effects are just, they're like, he's having to lay people off. And yeah, it gets the race to no one wins in a race to the bottom.
No.
It's a stupid game. Don't play it. And again, if you're coming into a market where there's a lot of established players already, those players can provide you an on-ramp as a subcontractor. Or I assume even if somebody came to you guys and was like, hey, I'm thinking of getting into commercial snow removal, I don't want to take away from you guys. I want us all to, work here. I assume that would be a conversation you'd love to have.
Yeah, we're not going to slam the door in somebody's face. I mean, it's just free enterprise. You can do what you want.
Mhm.
If you want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation. I've had a conversation earlier today with one of my great operators I had the last couple of years. He's buying his own equipment and starting his own deal, and I'm happy for him. And I mean, he wants to sub on here too if he can. So I'm like, yeah, we got work. We'll have something for you, but go for it. I mean, that's what he wants to do. I don't have an issue. I mean, it sucks. I'm losing a great operator, but I'm still happy for the guy.
Yeah.
So
And he's going off and doing exactly
what we taught him to do.
Yeah, what you taught him to do, and also what this video is all about. So, Jeremy, where can people find you on the internet? Where should they look for Glacier Snow Management, Snow Jobs? What are all the socials? What do you got?
The SnowJobs Podcast will be there. SnowJobsNation. Glacier Snow Management, Jeremy. I'm on there. I mean, if you want to find me, you'll find me.
There will be links to everything Jeremy in the description of this podcast on YouTube and also on Spotify. Obviously, Muskox Snowblowers. We are on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We will be on Spotify. So in terms of anything you want to know about running the snow removal industry, SnowJobs Podcast is your place to go. We think we make pretty good equipment to help you with that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Check it out. If you like good snow blowers, we think we make a few.
Yeah, you do.
Anyway, Jeremy, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, for your space, for the opportunity to talk with you, for the stories you shared, the insights you've given. We really appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
I appreciate you guys and everything you guys do for the industry, and you're welcome back anytime.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Take care.
Yep, you as well.